So when did Riley Bice come onto your radar?
Yeah, good question. I mean, he was one we've looked at throughout the year. Probably wasn't there at the mid-season, but the back half of the year was really strong, and it's a really good story actually. He's obviously an Albury boy, and he's a story of persistence, and I think the different pathways and different ways you can get onto a list. But we think he's an AFL player in his own right. He's got great AFL attributes that we really like. He's got some significant speed off halfback, sees the game quite well and can kick it, has a really nice left foot and can change angles, and we think he's a really good complement to what we've got back there.
You guys have looked far and wide in the past. Did you go to Albury in the last couple of years before this year?
Not so much. I mean, we've got scouts all over the country, to be honest, so we're looking wherever we can to find some talent, but from Riley's perspective, we obviously saw his footy at Werribee and really tracked him closely towards the back half of the year, and his footy was excellent, and we were really keen for him to get to that pick, and we were really excited when he did.
He plays round one.
Well, yeah, you don't put any limitations on that type of player, and obviously he's a more mature age player, so he understands. I think from a football sense, he understands the game a bit more than your typical 18-year-old, and that's probably due to the fact that the game the 18-year-old kids are playing is quite different to what we see as AFL with some of the rules, and he's a VFL player and has played in that sort of system for a while. So, look, he's every chance. Obviously, we think we've got a pretty strong team, so whether he has to bide his time or not, we'll wait and see. But he'll give himself every chance.
Did you have a specific plan for this draft? Like, I want to tick off this many positions or anything like that? Or was it just best available at each pick? What was the sort of plan going in?
Yeah, I think it sort of depends where the talent sits and when the talent dries up a little bit on your board. And certainly that happened for us this year. And look, our intention was last night to get the best talent available. We were really happy with Jesse Detoli and Ned Bowman. But clearly, we wanted to shift athletically a bit of our profile in our front half or back half, which I feel like we're able to do. But I think you've also got to be pretty flexible to what your order looks like and try and fill some needs, particularly at the back end. And clearly we took a key defender at the back end and felt like that was a need we could take late. And we certainly looked to address those needs where we could. But I think the important thing for us was the talent also aligned early on. So it was a good compliment, which is good.
Overaging in React. Can you talk to the preparations for that selection?
Yeah, I mean, again, another really good story for a different reason. So overlooked as an 18-year-old and clearly the brother of Mac and a really good player. And look, he's had some injuries, but he's really persisted. He was probably more on our radar from the mid-season. He was in the mix from a mid-season point of view, and clearly from that point on we kept tracking. And I suppose with our need for a key back and a developing key back, which is something we wanted to address if we could, that was of high importance, and we're really happy to bring him in the end.
Is Joel Cochran not matching a bit there?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a tricky one. But first and foremost, I think we're really happy for Joel that he got an opportunity with Collingwood and gets on an AFL list, which is great. And probably more broadly for the national competition, it's the Northern Academy is probably working and bringing some more talent through the AFL competition on different lists, which is great. But at the end of the day, we were comfortable with how many names we had left and the players that we rated pretty highly, and we're fortunate that one of them in React got through to us.
The rapid development of Mac Andrew and seeing how much he developed his 18th year, 19th year, and even what he is now, does that fill you with? Was that an extra incentive to pick React?
Not necessarily. I think it helps when you see that level of development. React's a different player to his brother. I will say that, but also I think the most important thing for us was we saw that rate of development throughout the year with React. So I think when you can see that from where he started to where he was at mid-year when we were interested in the mid-season potentially, and to where he ended up at the end of the year, we were comfortable with that rate of progression, and that was a really good sign for us.
Swans fans that will look up Ned Bowman, they might want to see something outside of just the big spec he took this year. What kind of player are you getting with him?
Oh, look, he's a super athletic high half forward that we think his athleticism can provide him different opportunities to play different roles and have a level of flexibility. And again, he probably shifts that athletic profile in our front half a little bit, which is what we tried to do. It's one of the things we would like to have addressed, and I think we're really pleased that we're able to do that. He can take a mark. He's got really good speed and power, and he's played some stints in the midfield. We don't put limitations on where they can play, but we think with his attributes and his athleticism, he's got a chance to play in a variety of different roles.
Chris, where do you see the game heading, and does that have any influence on the way you approach this draft?
Yeah, look, it does. I mean, we talk through when we go through these kids, and we take feedback from coaches, and throughout the year from a list management point of view, you're always talking about what types is the game evolving to, and clearly you look at night one, and probably a few of those key position players slid a little bit, and those smalls and mediums probably popped up a little bit more, and you look at recent grand finals, and those types of players have really announced themselves on the big stage, and we feel like we've got a few of those, and we would like to add to that stable. It doesn't mean you wouldn't take more key position players, but I think the importance of those players with that speed profile is becoming more pronounced in the AFL, and it's becoming a turnover game, transition game, and a lot of clubs are looking for speed.
Beautiful.